Have you ever wanted to bring your text to life with a fiery dynamic animation that demands attention? I'm going to show you how to create this stunning outline fire text animation in DaVinci Resolve Fusion. This effect might look kind of complex, but don't worry, it's made in layers and each step is kind of simple. The more layers you add, the more interesting the animation looks. Little by little, we're going to create this effect. A while back, a user commented and asked if I could create this fire text effect from the KGF 2 trailer. I took a look at it. It looked really interesting, so I thought I'd kind of give it a try. This isn't really an exact copy. This is more of kind of an animation, some text that was inspired by that trailer. Thanks so much for the suggestion. This is an Indian movie. It looks really interesting, but it looks like it's really well done, and the effects are really cool. Okay, before we dive into the fire, just a quick update on my SparkEffects. There's a new version out that has a bullet list and some updated spell check and quite a few more things. I'm still working on it. I'm going to be adding more over time. There'll be a video coming out about the updates real soon. If you want to try it out, there's a link in the description for the original video that tells you all about what the project is, what it does, and you can download the demo and try out the preview to see what all is in the app. All right, let's light this up. If you're ready to take your animations to the next level, stick around. If you're enjoying the content, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below to let me know how I'm doing or if you have any questions at all. This animation is built with layers. We're going to start simple and then kind of start adding a little bit more in as we go. We have a blank fusion composition, and first thing we're going to do is take a black background and slide that into the back. We're going to build everything on top of this. First layer is text. We're going to set up some text, add the outline. To do this, we're going to use the shape system with the shape nodes. This makes it really easy to set up an animated outline around the text. Click in the node area, hit Control Space, and search for S text. We'll add that in. And we're going to move this up to the top here. Because it's the shape system, we need to add a render node. So with the text selected, hit Control Space and search for S render. And we're going to take the output of the S render and merge it right on top of the background here. And let's add some text. Okay, now we just need to adjust the size and font. You want to choose a font that's pretty thick so that there's room for the border to go around. And if it's a font that's a little bit more interesting, that helps as well. Okay, we have the text set up in the composition. The next step is to build the outline. And we're going to reuse the text node to do this. Click in the node area and hit Control Space and search for S outline. We'll take the output of the text, put it into the outline. Now with the outline selected, hit Control Space and search for S render. We'll take the output of the render and merge it on top of the second merge. So the first merge has the text in it, the second merge has the outline. We want these to be separate so that we can apply different effects to them. We want the outline to be a different color. So let's use a fast noise. We're going to set the fast noise up with some red and yellow coloring to kind of simulate a little bit of fire. Click on the fast noise and hit color. And we'll set the first color to a red. Bring the alpha all the way up. And the second color, we're going to choose kind of a orangey yellow a little bit in there. And let's take a look at it. We're going to put it in the first viewer. I think I want the yellow to be a little bit brighter. And this is going to be our kind of a fire texture. Let's go to the noise here. We're going to bring up the scale a little bit and some of the detail. You can adjust this however you want. To get the outline to use this, what we're going to do is we're going to take the fast noise and we're going to put it right in the middle here. So we're going to take the output of the S render and put it into the mask input of the fast noise. And you'll see that we have a kind of that's going to be the fire line. So because we're masking it off where this render is, we get the line. Let's take the output of the fast noise and put it into this merge. All right, you can see over here, we got a little bit of that line on top of there. Let's make it a little more detailed, add some to the scale, and we're going to change the seethe rate a little bit to kind of get it moving. So it's a little bit thick, so let's adjust that outline. We're going to bring the thickness down just a bit because we're going to be applying some more effects. And here's where we can adjust the size and position. So we can take the length and bring it down. We're going to be able to animate this position to create the outline around the fire text. All right, let's go back to one viewer. All right, we're almost done with the text layer and the outline layer, the basic setup. The next thing we need to do is add a little bit of texture to the text. So we have a texture image. You can really use whatever you want, and we're going to drag that into the node area. Let's take the output of this texture node and put it right into the merge. Now you notice it's not big enough, so we're just going to use a transform node, and we're going to size it up. Really, however big you want, you can spin it, move it. So that's the texture. And to get the text into the texture, what we're going to do is we're just going to use the output of this render and put it into the mask input of this merge node. That's going to mask out the texture so that you only see it where the text is. All right, let's set up the background layer. We're going to use the same texture to do this. So let's take the output of the media N1 and merge it on top of this background here. And so we're using this texture 2 times. Let's take a transform node and put it here right in between these two so we can adjust the texture size. Looks good. Now the problem here is that the background texture obviously is the same texture as the text, so you can't really see it. So let's adjust the background texture. So with transform 2 selected, that's the one where the texture goes into this merge. With transform 2 selected, hit color corrector. And this is going to enable us to adjust it. And what we're really going to do is we're going to bring down the saturation just a bit and adjust the some of this and make it a little bit darker. So you see we got a little bit lighter text, and then the background is a bit darker. All right, let's take all this stuff right here and we're just going to shift it over a bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we want the text to kind of pop out a little bit, so we need to give it a little edge. So we need to add a little bit of an edge to make the text kind of pop out or separate itself from the background. So we're going to use an emboss node to do this. So right click in the node area, hit Control Space and search for emboss, hit enter. And we're going to take the output of the S-render. Let me go ahead and put that in viewer 1. So that's just this resolved text. We're going to take the output of this and put it into the emboss. And now let's put that in viewer 1. And you can see here that we got a little bit of an edge there. So we got a dark edge and a light edge. That's going to give it a little bit of dimension. And let's increase the power. You can see that right there. And I think we want to have the light edge on top and the dark edge on bottom. So that means kind of the light coming from the top left. So what we can do is adjust the angle. That looks pretty good. So we got the light edge on top and the dark edge on the bottom. And we have the power all the way up. You also notice that this is a little bit gray, so it's not completely transparent. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the output of this S-render 1 and put it into the mask input of the emboss. And there you go. So now we just have the embossed text. So let's take that and we're going to put it into this merge. So it's going to merge it right underneath our text. So if you look over, look over right here in the right-hand side, and we're going to merge this right underneath there, and you're going to see an edge and outline appear. And we got a little bit of an edge there. Now, it's not much because the text is really the exact same size as this text. So we're going to use an erode dilate. And this is going to enable us to make it a little bit bigger. So we can make it a lot bigger. Put this in the viewer 1, so we can make it a lot bigger or a lot smaller. So we're just going to bump it up to where we can kind of see the outline around the text. Something like that. And let's also add a blur node. I'm not sure if we're going to use this, but this enables us to kind of soften it up just a touch if we want to. We might use this a little bit later. All right, now obviously the edge is really harsh here, so we don't want it to be that harsh. So we can go to this merge node. There's a few things we can do. We can bring the blend down, or we can change one of the apply modes. So let's say we'll do like a color burn, and that kind of blends in it a little bit better, maybe a little bit more natural. Okay, let's go back to one viewer, and that is our text. Now let's put it in the viewer with the border on it. I'm going to adjust the fast noise border color real quick. All right, now it's time to animate the fiery border. So we're going to have it spin around the edge of the text. We're going to add a glow to it and a little bit of fast noise with a displace to kind of give it that crackly fire kind of look. Some glows, it's going to look really good. So first up, let's animate it. So we're going to go to this outline, and you'll see that we can adjust the position and the length. So we're going to keep the length right in here. This is something you can play with later to get it to where you want. We're going to go to the very first keyframe, and on position, we're going to keyframe position, and let's go over however many frames, in this case 90 frames, and I'm going to move it along however far you want it to go. Let's check, see what that looks like. That's not too bad. I'm going to make it go just a touch faster. Move it a little further. And now we're going to go to the spline editor, check off the position, hit select all, highlight both of these, and we're going to click set relative. So that animation is just going to continue throughout the movement is going to continue throughout the animation. To make things a little bit more dynamic, we're going to add a little bit of a push in. So we're going to bring this media node way out because we're going to be adding more layers in here with some more stuff. And right at the very end, we're going to add a transform node. We're going to go to the first frame and keyframe the size. And let's go to somewhere in here, and we're just going to bring the size up a little bit. Let's put that in the viewer. And this is just going to give us a little bit of a push in while the animation's running. Go to the spline editor, we'll select all that, and we're just going to go hit the set relative again. So the push in is going to continue. Just make it a little bit more dynamic. Very subtle, but it's a nice effect. Now that we have that, let's continue on with the fire outline. Okay, so we have it moving. Now we need to make it glow. So outside of this fast noise, hit Control Space and search for glow. And adjust the glow settings to however you want. Let's do it before or after. I'm going to disable it. So it's kind of subtle right there. Let's add a little bit more in. Bring the glow size down. There we go. And we're going to add another glow after that. Doubling up on the glows can kind of give you an interesting look. Okay, I think we got a little bit too much of the yellow going on. I want some more red in there. So what we're going to do is go to the fast noise, and we're going to take the brightness down, and it's going to move it more toward the red area. Kind of right in there. All right, the line is a little too thick, so let's go to the outline, and we're going to bring the outline size down right in there. Okay, now we want to get that crackly look, and we're going to use a displace to do this. So we're going to bring these up, and right outside of this fast noise, hit Control Space and search for displace. And we're going to take another fast noise and put that into the displace, and that's going to affect the displacement. So let's put that in the viewer. The fast noise is over in viewer 1, and then the text is in 2. So let's go to the fast noise, and what we're going to do is we're going to crank up the detail and the contrast and the scale. And you'll see that it's already starting to move there. And in the displace, let's go, we're going to do an XY path and change the Y refraction and the X refraction. And adjust the offsets to bring them back. I want it to be right on. See, the offset is how far down it is or up it is. So we're going to put it right in there. Okay, I want that to be a lot more crackly. So let's go to the fast noise and go to the color. And we're just going to set it to be black and white and bring the scale up and the detail and change the seed rate, obviously. There we go. We got some crackly looking text. And adjust the position of the displace. The outline is a little bit off the text because of the displace, so we can go to the Y offset and adjust it to move it back up into place. And we're going to do the same thing with the X offset. We're going to move that over. I think the color was looking a little bit too green over here, so I'm going to move it back, make sure it's kind of in the yellow, orangey, red area. Maybe make it a little more orange. We're just going to play with the settings, the displace, fast noise, and kind of get it set up the way I like. Really, there's a lot of different things you can do to kind of get it the way you want. This is something where you just need to play around with the fast noise, the displace, and some of the glows, adjust the settings to get it looking the way you want. Okay, the next thing we're going to do to make it just a little bit more interesting is to kind of vary the length of the outline with the fire. So let's go to the outline right here, and you can see obviously we can have the length be all the way around like that, or you can kind of have it be just little pieces. So we're going to kind of have this vary. So we're going to start it like right in here. Let's go to the very first frame, and we're going to keyframe it. Go over a little bit and bump up the length. So it's going to get to about there, and go to the spline editor, and we're just going to have this kind of ping pong back and forth. So let's just make sure we have the length checked. Highlight this, we're going to kind of flatten it out, and we're going to hit this ping pong option. So the length is going to get, is going to go from shorter to longer, back to shorter. Just kind of give it a little variation. Let's put this in one viewer. All right, take a look. Okay, the next step, what I did to make the background just a little bit more interesting is we added flicker. Really easy thing to do. So with this merge 3 selected, and this is the merge where the background goes into it, hit Control Space and search for flicker. And we can choose flicker addiction and put that in the viewer. And you'll see we kind of got the background flickering a little bit. And this is where you can adjust the speed. You can have it flicker really fast, slow it down, adjust the range. Does it flicker a lot or just a little bit? And how smooth is it? Go there. It's kind of like there, kind of. So like imagine if you have fire, there's going to be some flickering with the flames kind of going back and forth. So this kind of simulates that a little bit. So let's take a look at what this looks like with the flicker added. I think I want that to go a little bit faster. Go to the flicker addiction, and we're going to bump the speed up here. And bring the range down so it's flickering just a little bit. Okay, we have a little bit of fire text. We got fire, so we're going to have some smoke. So we're going to put some smoke right back in here. I'm going to lighten up this background just a touch. Just a little bit so we're going to be able to see it. And with the flicker addiction selected, hit Control Space, and we're going to add a merge. And because we have a lot of stuff going on up in here, we're going to put these nodes down below. So let's take a fast noise, bring it down here, and we're going to bring it into this merge. And that's going to be our smoke. We're going to make some kind of a dark gray smoky area. So go to the color tab, and we're going to bring this one up. So we got black and white. This black, we're going to make it a little bit more of a gray. Put it right in there. And go to the noise area and bring up the detail. Bring up the contrast and the brightness. So if you want more dark areas, you go to the left. If you want it to be brighter, you go to the right. So we're going to kind of put it right in here. Adjust the scale, and we want to adjust the seethe rate so it's moving. And smoke and fire, smoke rises. So what we're going to do is go to the very first frame and keyframe the center position, and we'll go over a little bit and bring it up. So our smoke is going to rise. Let's see what that looks like. Smoke's going up, and we want that to continue. So we'll go to the spline, hit the displacement for the fast noise, select both of those and say set relative. And our smoke is going to keep going up. Now, obviously, we only really want to see the black parts here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a mask on here because we want the smoke to only be behind the text. And we don't want it to be everywhere. So we'll bring it up to here, right in like that. And we're going to push up the soft edge. So we kind of have the smoky area behind the text. Click on this. We're going to adjust the seethe rate because we want the smoke to be changing a little bit. And it's going up. Now we're going to go to the merge node and choose the mode. Let's play around with some of these. We'll do like a color burn. That did not work. Darker color. Oh, look, we got some smoke going back there. All right, let's make some adjustments here. Okay, we got some, that's kind of a color dodge. We got some fiery smoke. That's kind of a cool look. Play around with a few more of these. Maybe we'll go with that right there. Just kind of a black smoky thing going behind it as the text is on fire. Subtle, but adds a little bit to the animation. I'm gonna adjust the fast noise just one more time. Play with the scale a little bit, make it maybe a little bit bigger smoke. And just seethe. Okay, let's keep going. We got fire, we got smoke, we need embers. We need some things kind of floating around to kind of give it you can see the fires kind of spreading, the embering, things like that. So we're gonna go a little bit further along in this animation here, and we're gonna use the particle system just to set up some real quick fire embers kind of floating around on our animation. So hit the node area, hit control space and search for P emitter. With that selected, hit control space and search for P render. And we're gonna take our particles and merge them right on top of this merge 3. All right, as you can see, we got some little bitty particles in there. We want the particles to be basically just all over the screen. So we're gonna go to the particle emitter, go to the inspector and region. And as opposed to the particles being in this little sphere here, let's just do all. And they're gonna have particles all over the screen. Go to style, choose Ingon and pick this shape here. And we're gonna bring the size up a little bit. Change the size variance. We're gonna have them start a little bit bigger and then get smaller. Go to fade controls. And we're gonna have them kind of fade in and out. And they're not moving, which is not fun. So let's, in here, we're gonna add a turbulence. So with the emitter selected, hit control space and search for P turbulence. And we're gonna adjust the X, Y density. Just kind of, you can play around with these to kind of get the look that you want. Okay, I think that's way too many particles. So let's go to the emitter and go to controls. And as opposed to 10 particles, let's do 5 particles, adjust the number variance. And lifespan, let's make them, say 45. We're just kind of playing with some numbers here and adjust the variance there. All right, we've got some embers floating around, but as you know, embers aren't white. So let's change the colors on that. So in the emitter, we're gonna go to style, color controls, and then color over life. We're gonna have these start out, let's make them start out as red and put another point at the end right down here. And we're gonna have them go to kind of a yellow. So we're gonna have the embers go from red to yellow. Let's make them a little bit bigger. Go to size controls. And let's do 0.6, try that. All right, that looks pretty good. They're on fire, so they got to glow. So outside of this render, hit control space and search for glow and adjust some of these glow settings. And let's add another glow in. We'll double glow it. I think I want a little bit more yellow. It's maybe a little bit too red there. So let's go back to the emitter. And what we can do is we can take this yellow and slide it over here, so that they're gonna be red for a little bit less long. And I want them to slow down a bit. So we're gonna go to the turbulence and bring this down. This is something where you play with it until you get it the way you want it. All right, I've just adjusted a few of these settings. I'd kind of like to play around with this a little bit more. Don't like exactly the way it looks, but I think this is good enough to kind of give you an idea of what you can do. Okay, it's hot, and when things get hot, you get a little bit of distortion. So we need to add some heat distortion. We're going to use a vary blur node to do that. So hit control space and search for vary. And this is the vary blur node. And we're going to take the output right here of everything and put it into the vary blur. And then we're going to take that and we're going to merge it right back on top. So this is going to allow us to blur things from the heat. And we're going to use a fast noise to drive this. So take a fast noise and slide it into the blur here. And let's adjust the detail contrast. We're going to do the same thing. It's going to be kind of a black and white. And we'll take the blur here and we're going to bump up the quality and the blur size. And let's go to the fast noise, take a look at what we have. All right, so basically it's going to blur everywhere where this fast noise is white, and it's not going to blur where it's black. So we want to adjust, I'm going to adjust the scale a little bit. You see we have a little bit of blurring and then some not blurring. And this is where we're going to do the same thing. Heat rises, and so we want the blur to kind of rise along too. Going to set the seethe rate. Let me adjust this fast noise just a bit, bring the detail down and the scale down. Go to the first frame, and we're going to check the center position, and then let's just go, see, okay, yeah, so we have a keyframe, and we're just going to bring this up. So basically the fast noise is going to be rising, and you can see that the heat is going to be rising with the blur on the right-hand side. See, as I adjust that, the blur changes. And same thing, I'm going to go to the spline, select the points, and set relative. So that's going to continue. All right, let's take a look at that, put that in one viewer here. All right, that's probably a little too much blur. I'm gonna turn that down just a touch. We just go to the very blur and bring it down. Moving along, now we need to distort it a little bit. So we have a little bit of blur, but let's add some distortion in there. Gonna add another merge node, and we're gonna use a displace and merge the output into the displace. And this is the next layer. Bring it in there, and we're gonna use another fast noise for the displacement. And on displace, we're gonna just adjust the X and Y. X refraction, Y refraction, bring the offsetter back. Okay, it's a little kind of wobbly. I want this to be a little crisper, so we're going to bump up the scale a lot and bring down the detail. And I think I want the text to be a little bit bigger. So let's go over to the text node. And because everything is being driven by this text node, we can just crank up the size here. And we have our fiery resolve text. Okay, guys. It's time for fire. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. They look okay. It's more of an effect. It doesn't exactly look like fire, but it might be interesting enough. Not exactly pleased with the way this turns out, but it's not too bad, and it kind of gets the job done. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. So what we're going to do is everywhere where this glowing outline is, we want that to kind of look like it's on fire and kind of have some flames shooting up a little bit from it. So hit in the node area, hit Control Space, and search for rays. This is the first way. This looks pretty good. Not exactly fire-ish, but it might work. And take the output of the rays and merge it on top. And you'll see there we got some really cool rays coming out. Got the smoke in the background, looking good. So we can click on the rays and adjust some of the settings so you can adjust the position. This is more of kind of a light ray effect, and we can apply some more effects to make it a little more fiery, but what I'm gonna do is we're gonna try the light rays node. So let's delete rays, hit Control Space, and search for light rays. And add this one in, drag it onto this line with the Shift key, and there we go. So we want the rays to be at an angle, and we're gonna set the angle to 0 because our fire is gonna go up. Now you see we're merged on top, everything is black. So what you wanna do is when you select output, you don't want the final image, you wanna just do the light rays alone. Okay, so we just have the light rays there. We go to the merge, and we're gonna adjust the blend mode here, find one that we like. So you can see we got a little bit of fire starting to come up. All right, so we're going to go with this color dodge. Now let's adjust these rays. They're a little bit too long. I think I want them to be you can make the rays really long or really short. And let's adjust the source threshold. So if you want more of the color coming through, you can adjust that threshold. And we're going to make ours super short. Blur a little bit. All right, let's adjust it. That's a little too bright there. So let's go back to the blending mode. And there's linear dodge. And lighter color. Let's try linear dodge, and we're going to go to the merge, and going to kind of bring down the blend just a touch. Okay, so those are kind of flamey looking, but we need them to move a little bit. So the light rays, we're going to bring the size down, just barely coming up. All right, so outside of the light rays, we're going to add a displace with the fast noise. On the displace, choose XY, and we're going to adjust the X offset, or the X refraction a little bit, and X offset. And the Y refraction and Y offset a little bit. And with the fast noise, let's take a look at it. I'm going to break up the scale. You see how we have our kind of flamey looking thing going on right there. Adjust the brightness and contrast. All right, we want the flames to be going up, so we're going to do the same thing where we adjust the X position of the fast noise. You see the fast noise is kind of going up. We got a little bit of a flamey look. We need some more effects, but this is kind of getting there. Let's go to the first frame and set a keyframe on the fast noise position. We'll move over a bit and drag up the Y, kind of get some flickering flame looking thing going there. And go back to the spline editor. We're going to select all the points and set relative so our animation continues. Okay, I'm adjusting some of the settings. We're going to play with this these light rays a little bit till we get what we want. Soften them up a bit, kind of blend that fire a little bit more, and you can adjust the brightness. We want to bring the brightness down of the light rays. Just a little bit of a flame on that edge. Make it a little bit brighter. All right, we got a little bit of fire. I don't exactly like it, but I think it's good enough. I could play around with this for a long time to try to make it better. Crazy fire. A little bit overdone. That's why I think we could take the blend and bring it down. And take that text outline, make that a bit bigger. Oh, that's where the fire goes crazy. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Needs to be a little bit more subtle. Anyway, that's the resolve fire text effect, and looks like I broke it. Let me see if I can fix this here. Too much fire. And let's take a look at the final output with the embers and the heat distortion and everything. We'll do one more thing here to kind of create a fade in. So we're going to take this background. At the very end, we're going to take a black background and merge it on top of everything. It's all gone, and we're just kind of fade this in. So let's go to this merge, and we'll set the blend to 1. We'll go over about, say, 30 frames and bring the blend down. So it's going to kind of go from black. The text is going to kind of fade in. Go to the spline editor and kind of smooth that out a little bit. It's going to start black and kind of fade in. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you thought the animation was kind of interesting. A lot more coming soon, and also be sure to check out my SparkEffects app that has animations, all kinds of enhancements and workflow optimizations to help you edit better videos faster and quicker in DaVinci Resolve. There's a link down below. You can check it out. Like I said, there's going to be more information on this coming out soon. I'm opening up more of the features, so we're going to be talking about that a lot. Any comments, questions, leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys soon.